Hi, my name is Robert Berrio. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about the big problem with electric bikes. The problem that nobody seems to be talking about. The elephant in the room. Stay with me. If you are the type of person who can fix anything, this video may not be for you. Otherwise, this will probably resonate with you. In this day and age, we're accustomed to having things done quickly and efficiently. When something breaks, we fix it, or we have it fixed. When we want something, we want it right away. Call it instant gratification if you will, but I think it's a reflection on the efficiency and perfection of our modern technology and the high level of organization that has made our society so successful. When something goes wrong with your car, you take it to the dealer or to a reputable garage to have it fixed. When we're not having supply chain problems as we are experiencing now in August 2023, most repairs can be done the same day and you can count on having your car to go to work the next day at least. If it's a major repair like a transmission job and the garage doesn't have the parts in stock, we can depend on an excellent distribution system of original parts, third-party parts, or used parts. Most of the time, parts can be obtained with next day delivery and you'll get your car back within 2 or 3 days. Very often, the dealer will provide you with a loaner, so you don't have to be a single day without private transportation. All car manufacturers have dealers in all the major cities. If your car breaks down when you're on a trip, there will usually be a service garage within a couple of 100 kilometers of towing distance, and again, you'll be on your way the next day. However, life isn't this easy for the electric bicycle owner. As opposed to cars, electric bicycles are notoriously subject to things breaking down, wearing out, or going out of adjustment. Any bicycle shop can repair the mechanical parts of an electric bike. Most parts are standard amongst manufacturers. If the bicycle shop doesn't have the exact same part, usually they'll have a substitute that they can install. Whereas the motor of a car will last a lifetime, the motor of an electric bike may last as little as 20,000 kilometers and sometimes even less. My Pedigo motor lasted only 8,200 kilometers. The liquid crystal display had to be replaced after only 6,500 kilometers. In both instances, the manufacturer replaced the defective components or warranty, but it didn't prevent me from being deprived of my bike for a week or two. Bicycle shops don't like keeping expensive inventory like motors or controllers or selector switches. The liquid crystal display or the electric cable that might be needed to repair your bike may not be in stock. The other problem with repairing bicycles in northern latitude is that because of the seasonal situation of cycling, bicycle shops never have enough qualified mechanics to fill the high demand during the peak season, which is exactly when your e-bike is going to break down. If one of the electrical parts of your e-bike has to be repaired or replaced, then you're up the creek. There are hundreds of e-bike manufacturers, most of them new in the business, and will be out of business within 10 years from now. Very few manufacturers have dealers in every city, so if you're on a long trip and your electrical system needs repair, it's very likely that the closest dealer for your make of e-bike will be thousands of miles away. And what if you bought your bike online? Many people have found that they can save a lot of money by buying from a manufacturer that sells direct to the consumer, or from a large retailer like Costco or Walmart. If that was your choice and an electrical component quits on you, and eventually it will happen to you, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when, You won't have a bicycle shop that knows the product, that can diagnose the problem, and can take a part off their shelf and repair the bike for you. You'll have to deal with the manufacturer directly yourself. They'll try to diagnose the problem by phone, and they'll ship you a part, but you'll have to install the part yourself. It's going to be very difficult to find a local e-bike store that will be able to or willing to help you. Even when you buy your bike from a local dealer close to you, it doesn't mean that they'll be able to replace the planetary gears in your motor the same day. It's more likely that they'll have to order the parts from a distant warehouse or manufacturer. Some dealers make you pay for shipping costs, which will be astronomical. When I had to order a battery sleeve for my daughter's Pedigo from my local dealer, they charged me $50 for shipping from California. If the source of the parts is from another country, you'll have to be prepared to pay customs and brokerage fees on top of shipping. If you're on a long bicycle tour, a fault in the electrical system could spell the end of your trip. If you rely on your bike to commute to work, you may have to take the bus for 2 weeks, unless you have a spare e-bike, which is a very good idea if you have to depend on an electric bike to get to work. In a nutshell, servicing is the big problem with electric bikes. So, what can you do to mitigate the problem? When you buy a quality e-bike, you'll get high-quality parts like brakes, shifters, and derailleurs. However, the electrical components might be just as subject to failure as those on an entry-level e-bike. Although Bosch is reputed to be top of the line, my Cube, equipped with the Bosch motor and components, let me down several times. The bike software is so complex that, like a computer, the software sometimes becomes corrupted. The only way I could get the bike to work again was to take it to a Bosch dealer to have the software updated, a procedure that only the dealers have the equipment for. If you're going to be touring with your e-bike, you'll want to select a manufacturer that has dealers in every city on your route. In Canada, some e-bike companies have only one dealer only in Vancouver, some only in Toronto or Montreal. The more widespread is a company, the more likely they'll have a good parts distribution system. A good example is the Pedigo e-bike company, which has over 200 dealers in the United States. They've been in business long enough that by now they've probably corrected all of their earlier mistakes. The e-bike industry is still very young and growing. Over time, the small manufacturers will either fail or be bought by larger companies, and eventually the market will be dominated by just a few major suppliers. This will bring standardization, which will make parts easier to stock. As the industry expands, the surviving makers will have dealers in more cities, which will encourage a wider parts distribution system. What can you do to reduce the downtime for your electric bike? As I mentioned before, having a second e-bike can be very useful as a backup in case your main e-bike is in for repairs, but that's an expensive proposition that's out of reach for a lot of people. If your e-bike has a complex software system like the Bosch, have it checked before the start of each new season. When buying an e-bike, choose a popular brand or buy a bike that has a motor that has wide distribution like Bafang or Yamaha. Buy from a reputable shop that has a long history of servicing electric bicycles. It's important to establish a good rapport with your bike shop. Get to know the owner and the employees by name. That's very important. In addition to the e-bike itself, buy all your accessories from the same store. Even though you might save $1 or $2 by shopping around, you're further ahead to give your business to a shop that's giving you good service and to build a good relationship. In the fall or winter, take your bike to them for a tune-up or an inspection. They will appreciate the business in their downtime, and it will be an opportunity for you to get to know the technician who is actually doing the work. Your winter visit will also ensure that your bike is in top shape when spring arrives. If you can find one, buy from a shop that also rents e-bikes so they can lend you or rent you one while your e-bike is in for repairs. I'd also be very interested in hearing about your experiences of servicing for your e-bike, good or bad. If you enjoy my videos, you can help my channel by giving it a like, comment, share, and if you haven't already done so, to subscribe. And if you want to help even more, you could buy a copy of my adventure book, Sailor Without a Boat, How I Sailed on Other People's Yachts and Lived to Tell About It. You'll find lots of information about the book and about electric bikes on my website, www.robertberrio.com. Thank you for your interest, and remember, never quit cycling.